The president publicly names his attorney general, demanding she prosecute his political enemies. When asked if that was a direct order from the White House, she doesn't deny it. That moment revealed just how fragile justice has become in America.
Your views on this is not pending litigation. So I want to get to the independence of the Justice Department. At your nomination hearing, I specifically asked you to provide assurance to every member of this committee that the Justice Department will only follow the facts and the law, and the White House will play no role in the cases investigated or brought. You stated in response, this was you, politics will not play a part in my decisions. And you also said the Justice Department must be independent and must act independently. Do you believe that you have upheld that commitment?
I absolutely have upheld that commitment, Senator. I pledged that I would end the weaponization also of the Justice Department and that America would once again have a one-tier system of justice for all. And that is what we are doing in this country.
We saw this with the president directing an investigation prosecution of Chris Krebs, the former head of cybersecurity, Lisa Cook, who is a current governor of the Federal Reserve, Director Comey. And the president, and I know you have said that you will not discuss discussions you've had with the president about Comey. Is that correct? That you won't testify here about that? Because I was going to ask you if you received advice, instruction, or request from anyone at the White House to direct the department to engage in any investigations, prosecutorial actions, including decisions not to investigate or prosecute anyone.
I'm not going to discuss any conversations.
But then how about the Truth Social post on September 20th, 2025, in which the president said, we can't delay any longer, Pam, using your name, not bringing criminal charges, are killing our reputation, his words, and credibility. And then goes on to tell you to prosecute a member of this committee, to prosecute the Attorney General of New York, and to prosecute James Comey. Do you consider that a directive to the Justice Department?
Senator Klobuchar, President Trump is the most transparent president in American history, and I don't think he said anything that he hasn't said for years.
Okay, it has been reported that you initially pushed back against requests by senior Trump administration officials to push out or fire the acting U.S. Attorney in Virginia, Eric Siebert, who's a conservative Republican, who made the decision that that the evidence was not there to prosecute Comey. What made you change your opinion?
I am not going to discuss personnel decisions.
Okay. Is it true that the career prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia found that there was insufficient evidence to bring criminal charges against former Director Comey?
I am not going to discuss pending cases because Comey was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia by, I may point out, one of the most liberal grand juries in the country.
Okay, let's go on to other firings or terminations. Last week, the Justice Department...
In this exchange, what played out between Senator Amy Klobuchar and Attorney General Pam Bondi was more than a tense back and forth. It was a window into the ongoing battle over the independence of the Department of Justice and the limits of presidential influence. It's moments like these that show how fragile the balance of power really is in a democracy. Senator Klobuchar didn't start with fireworks. She started with a reminder that Bondi, during her confirmation hearing, promised this very committee that the Justice Department under her watch would be guided solely by facts and law, not politics. She pledged that the White House would have no role in deciding who gets investigated or prosecuted. That's supposed to be one of the cornerstones of American democracy. The Justice Department must stand apart from political influence, no matter who's in the Oval Office. But Klobuchar didn't have to look far to find cracks in that promise. She brought up a recent Truth Social post from President Trump, one that directly mentioned Bondi by name, saying, "We can't delay any longer, Pam," before urging her to bring criminal charges against James Comey, the New York Attorney General, and even a sitting senator. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't coded. It was the President of the United States publicly calling on his Attorney General to target political rivals. So when Klobuchar asked Bondi point blank whether she considered that post a directive to the Justice Department, it was an opportunity for Bondi to reaffirm her independence, to send a clear message that no president can instruct prosecutors whom to charge. But instead of drawing that line, Bondi sidestepped the question entirely. Her response was, "President Trump is the most transparent president in American history." It was a statement that said nothing about law, process, or integrity. Transparency is not independence, and Klobuchar knew it. That's why she pressed harder. She reminded Bondi of reports that senior administration officials had pushed to fire the U.S. Attorney in Virginia, the same prosecutor who declined to bring charges against Comey after reviewing the evidence. That attorney wasn't some partisan figure. He was a respected conservative Republican who found the evidence insufficient. Initially, Bondi reportedly resisted the pressure to remove him, but later she reversed course. When Klobuchar asked why, Bondi refused to discuss personnel decisions or pending cases. On paper, those sound like procedural refusals, but in reality, they are political evasions. The pattern here is what alarms many observers. An attorney general who once promised an apolitical Justice Department now avoids even acknowledging whether a public demand from the president is inappropriate. That silence speaks volumes. To anyone watching, the implications are serious. The Justice Department is supposed to be a firewall between the president and the power to prosecute. It is designed to ensure that no one, not even the most powerful man in the country, can turn law enforcement into a weapon. When that firewall starts to crumble, it doesn't just affect the political elite, it undermines every citizen's faith in equal justice. Because if political loyalty determines who gets investigated and who doesn't, then the very idea of one system of justice for all collapses. What we're seeing here is not just a clash of personalities, it's a test of institutions. When a sitting attorney general cannot clearly say, "No, the president cannot tell me who to prosecute," we are witnessing the slow erosion of a fundamental democratic safeguard. History shows us that this is how norms decay, not through a single dramatic event, but through repeated moments of silence, deference, and blurred boundaries between power and principle. Pam Bondi's response, or rather her refusal to respond directly, was a signal that the Justice Department may once again be sliding into the orbit of political control. And this matters because the justice system's legitimacy depends entirely on public trust. Once people believe that justice is politically motivated, that cases are chosen based on party or loyalty rather than law, the system loses its moral authority. Klobuchar's questioning was not about scoring partisan points, it was about defending the principle that no president, regardless of political party, should have the power to use justice as a personal weapon. This is what separates democracies from autocracies. In a democracy, prosecutors answer to the law. In an autocracy, they answer to the leader. Moments like this one should make every citizen pause. It's not just about Comey or Trump or Bondi, it's about precedent. If this becomes normalized, if future presidents see that they can publicly pressure attorneys general to prosecute opponents without consequence, then this is no longer an isolated controversy. It becomes the new operating standard of power. What's at stake here is bigger than one hearing or one administration. It's the idea that justice must remain blind to politics, and that's exactly why exchanges like this one need to be seen and understood for what they are. Not political theater, but stress tests on the foundation of democracy itself. If you believe that justice should never serve as a political tool, that it must remain loyal only to the Constitution, not to any individual or ideology, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to Left Lens, and share your thoughts below. Because accountability begins with awareness, and democracy survives only when people are willing to defend it.